Hey everybody, I hope that you're doing well and I hope that you're staying warm on this cold start to our week. I wanted to check in with you now that we're halfway through Unit 3. Unit 3 is admittedly a bit different than what we've come across thus far because I've given you the option of either completing the assignments as originally slated or the option to do the alternate assignments in which you comment on and give feedback on the shape of the assignments themselves. So this has been very helpful in helping me to further think about a few different things that I've already been thinking about relative to so far the reading tweets assignment. So that's what we did the first half of Unit 3, as is typical. During this next week, for the second half of Unit 3, you'll be considering the timeline assignment and the journal assignment, whether for feedback or just completing those assignments as they had originally been laid out. Before I get too much farther, though, I wanted to emphasize the link to the survey that I've created just below this video. This is the first time I've created a survey in Brightspace, so please let me know if you encounter any hiccups with it. It's designed to be a short survey, as I've noted in the announcement here, and it's really important. I'd really like to get just everyone to kind of weigh in on what types of changes you'd like to see in our assignments. And again, it's not just to say, well, we shouldn't be doing assignments or I don't want to do as much work. But I've really been impressed with and grateful for the meaningful and substantive feedback you've provided about working in a public platform like Twitter, all the concerns that you have with that, different ideas about the scope and the guidelines for the Twitter assignment, and so on. So I can tell you're really thinking hard about what could we do to this assignment that would make it an even better way to engage with the readings and videos and podcasts on modern Latin American history. And that's exactly what I was hoping for. I've been studying critical pedagogy for a few years now, and there are a lot of folks who are thinking about ways of decentering the instructor, making learning front and center in ways that allow everyone, students, instructors, other kinds of participants in courses as well, a room, I should say, to create the learning experience that will be most beneficial to them and for their own, for your goals, to help us as a community of learners to become more tightly knit and to use all of those kinds of human connections to better understand something about modern Latin American history. So this is one way of trying to give you some of that room to create the experience that we're going to have together in our class. Of course, there's still a lot of structure that I've put in. I think that we'll have to, structure is important, especially online when we never meet with each other face to face in any way, shape, or form. But, again, thank you for your feedback. A couple of things that really stuck out to me are ideas about the kind of stiff structure of you need to post 10 comments and 5 replies on Twitter. And so reflected in the survey, I'm trying to think of ways that we might make that more open-ended and still have meaningful conversation. I did post replies to everyone in the discussion board, some follow-up questions about the feedback that you gave me relative to Twitter and the way that we're using it. Sometimes, just asking follow-up questions or giving you ideas about ways you could leverage the use of the notifications on Twitter, even if you don't use the app, which is more than fine. You don't have to do that for our class, so that you are more engaged there. Also, though, as I've sort of alluded to, several of you voiced concerns that have been weighing on me for some time. As I hope is evident in the way that I framed the Twitter assignment and the comments that I put there. I understand that Twitter is not necessarily the kindest place. It's a place that can be full of trolls and bullies and xenophobic, sexist, racist, horrible kinds of comments and just vicious interactions. That's one of the reasons that I offered the opportunity to create anonymous Twitter handles for use in our class. But I'm also realizing that maybe that's not enough. Even though we haven't had trolls kind of take advantage or take over our Twitter feed for our class, that was a concern that many of you voiced. Others have concerns about privacy that go beyond just being able to be anonymous on Twitter. These are real issues, and I don't want the platform to get in the way of the work that we're doing together. I want you to feel free and open to be able to make comments to each other. One of the benefits that I saw on Twitter is that it can help us in some ways to connect to larger fields of historians who are working on Latin America and other areas. So for example, if you look at the Twitterstorians hashtag, those are academic historians who are very actively engaged with talking to each other about the kinds of research work they're doing, about the way that they're teaching. There are all sorts of communities that form on Twitter via certain hashtags in that way. And sometimes we're able to connect to those with our class, or at the very least, I wanted to show that Twitter and platforms like it can be spaces where meaningful kinds of community can be created. But again, what I'm hearing is that sometimes the public nature of Twitter makes you feel hesitant to really express your ideas and your full opinions about the work that we're doing, about the readings that we've been working on together. Some of you feel less than engaged because it's sort of one more thing to do that's outside of Brightspace. Hopefully I've kind of recognized most of your concerns and ideas, and so I have some thoughts about how we might be able to proceed in a way that will make this assignment as meaningful as it can be for all of us as a class community. And so I've put some of those options again into that survey. So please do fill it out. It will take you less time than it has taken you to listen to my video, because I tend to ramble, and I know that, and I apologize. But I thank you for listening, because I think, at least I hope, that it's important to hear the way that your instructors are wrestling with these ideas about teaching, especially in online spaces. Even when I've decided that Twitter is something that is innovative and could be useful, just because I like it doesn't mean that it's the best thing for us as a class this semester. So, again, please complete the survey. If you have other ideas, you can send those to me on the discussion board, especially if you've already started commenting there, or you can email me. And I look forward to, more than anything, studying Latin American history with you, as we've been doing, but also doing that in the way that will be most beneficial to our class community.